tons of polls came out. And obviously this race appears it's going to come down to Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, Arizona, and Nevada. A lot of these polls have come out now in Pennsylvania, which I think is the most important of all the states out there. And Real Political Data went back and looked at all of the polls at this exact time of year in 2020 of Pennsylvania, which ended up decided, Adam, look up the full 80,000 votes, I believe, ended up deciding Pennsylvania. Around 1 percentage point, Trump ended up losing Pennsylvania by a very slim margin. Listen to what the polls looked like in 2020 as we got ready at this time of year for Joe Biden going up against Donald Trump. The Emerson poll, and this is Real Political Data, has put all these together. I'm reading off of their Twitter feed at Real P Data, if you want to follow them or see this for yourself. Emerson had the Democrat Joe Biden +5. Right now, Emerson has it Republican +1. So that is a 6-point swing. Marist in 2020 had Joe Biden +9 at this point in time. Right now, Marist has it dead even. Insider Advantage had Biden +3. Right now, they have it Republican +2. Quinnipiac, at this exact time in 2020, had it as Democrat +8. Right now, they have it as Democrat Kamala +5. New York Times had it as Biden +9. Right now, they have it as Kamala +4. Suffolk had it as Democrat +7. They did have it as, right now, they have it as Kamala +3. CBS News had it Biden +7. Right now, they have it tied. Trafalgar had it as Democrat +2. Right now, they have it as Republican +2. And CNN had it as Democrat +10 in 2020. Right now, they have it as tied. The numbers in all of those polls are substantially in Trump's favor compared to where they were in 2020 at this exact time. And Trump ended up only losing Pennsylvania by 1. Why do I bring all this up? Right now, Trump is in a better position than he ever was in 2020. And he's in a better position than he ever was, by and large, in 2016, according to the polls. If the polls are accurate, Trump's going to win, because they have consistently undercounted Trump's support in both 2016 and 2020. And so if they're inaccurate against Trump again, this race may not even end up being very close. But even if they're accurate right now, Trump is in a much better position than he ever has been in the past. And that ties in with the decision we mentioned yesterday with the Teamsters. The Teamsters decided they're not going to give an endorsement to the Democrat. Adam, you can confirm that I'm right about this. I think I'm correct, that is the first time there hasn't been a Democrat endorsement since 1988 for the Teamsters. Not only did they not endorse, they also came out and said Trump is winning based on our internal polls, union voters, 60-40. Now, I don't think there's that many people that are going to change their minds. But if you look at that data, Joe Biden was actually very popular relative to a Democrat with high school educated men who work with their hands, who build things, who work in factories. They were able to do pretty well, Joe Biden was. I don't think those people are voting for Kamala. And I actually think that Trump is going to win Pennsylvania, and whichever candidate wins Pennsylvania is probably going to win the presidency. And right now, I would say Trump is in a phenomenal spot to win Pennsylvania. Again, my route to the presidency is if Trump wins Georgia, Atlanta Journal-Constitution had him up 3. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. and he wins North Carolina, then all he has to do, and I think Trump's going to win both, then all he has to do is win Pennsylvania, and he's going to be winning the 2024 presidency. I think it's interesting to compare past and present when it comes to how these things break out. This is Tom Bevan at Real Clear Politics. Hold on, let me take a sip. And Tom Bevan at Real Clear Politics, yes, first time in nearly 3 decades the Teamsters haven't endorsed a Democrat. Since people are asking, 2020, the final Atlanta Journal-Constitution poll in Georgia had Biden up 1 point. The final result was Biden won by 0.3, super close race in Georgia, okay? So the Atlanta Journal-Constitution poll in 2020 was very accurate. In 2016, the final Atlanta Journal-Constitution poll was Trump +2. Trump ended up winning Georgia by 5.1. So it undercounted Trump's support a little bit in both of those years. Right now, Trump is up 3 in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution poll. Now, still a little bit over 6 weeks out. Some of you are going to start voting early. I've said that I'm voting early. I am voting for Trump. I'm going to try and vote on October 16th. Very first day of early voting in the great state of Tennessee where I live. I'm going to get my ballot in early. The data reflects that getting your vote in early allows the party that you prefer to spend more time and resources chasing less likely voters. It also takes out of the equation, I love to vote and historically have voted on election day, but if you're like me and you got a bunch of kids, maybe you wake up sick on election day. Maybe your kids are sick. If you live in Wisconsin or Michigan or Pennsylvania, maybe you get an early ice storm. Maybe you get bad weather somewhere in your location and you're just not able to go. Maybe you got grandma or grandpa with getting sick, your parents getting sick. There's so many different things that can happen. I'm going to bank my vote early, and I'm going to allow people to focus on trying to get out others to make sure that they vote. So that is the latest data point out there. I don't know how many of you watched Donald Trump with Greg Gutfeld on last night. I was out for dinner with Prize Picks, like I said. Thank you, by the way. You guys are supporting Prize Picks like crazy. They're signed up all the way through the end of 2025 now because you guys have been playing Prize Picks and such responsive partners with them. So thank you. But we were out to dinner, came back home, got ready for bed. My wife had on Gutfeld. Trump was one of the 4 panelists there. I don't know how many of you watch Fox News on a regular basis. I've done the Gutfeld panel quite a bit. I like Kat Temp. I like Tyrus. They also had Emily Campagno on last night. I would encourage all of you to go watch Trump on Gutfeld and ask yourself, could Kamala Harris even do this? Could she go off script, sit on a panel of 4, and have a normal interaction? I think the answer is no. And I shared this tweet, and I do believe it is reflective of what they are trying to do. They are clearly trying to hide Kamala Harris. And when I say they're trying to hide Kamala Harris, what does that mean? It means that they are limiting how much interaction she is going to have with the media on an historic level, the likes of which we have never seen before. A couple of things that I want to hit you on. I'm going to talk about New York polling here in a moment, but this is from Axios, and I shared this. You can go look it up yourself. TV and print interviews by presidential ticket since July 21st, 2024, when Kamala was elevated as the nominee when Joe Biden dropped out. Trump has done 14 different TV and print interviews and/or press conferences. J.D. Vance has done 59. Basically, J.D. Vance has talked to everybody on the planet. Kamala Harris has done 3. Tim Walz has done 4. Axios went back and looked throughout all the history. They can't, even Joe Biden in 2020, when they hit him in the basement and blamed COVID, even he did more. Why is this? because they know the more Kamala talks, the less people like her. So make no mistake what they are trying to do. They are trying to hide her and make people not aware of how awful she is, and they are trying to keep her out of larger discussion. A couple of other points I want to hit you on the deluge of polls that came out this morning. New York poll. Kamala Harris up 13, 55 to 42. Why is that significant? Joe Biden won New York by 23 points in 2020. A lot of movement towards Trump. If Kamala only wins New York by 13, that would suggest that she is in trouble in lots of other places, whether it's New Hampshire, whether it's Virginia, that were decided by 10 or less points in 2020, because it would suggest she's running substantially behind the numbers that Joe Biden posted. What else stands out to me? This poll, this Siena Research poll in New York, has Trump winning Jewish voters 54 to 44. The most dishonest attack of Trump among them all is the idea that somehow he's Adolf Hitler. What an upset it would be. Jewish voters in New York are voting for Trump. That's a pretty good sign that they don't buy these media allegations about Trump being a dictator and being Adolf Hitler. It's all ridiculous. Also, Kamala and Biden don't even believe it, because if they did, every time somebody tries to kill Trump, they wouldn't call him and wish him their best. That is absolutely insane. Also, it's important for you to recognize this story came out yesterday afternoon. Iran has been trying to hack the Trump campaign and share information they got from that hacking with the Biden-Kamala campaign. Sometimes it's important to think about who is actually in favor of Kamala. Iran wants Kamala to win because they got a sweetheart deal with Barack Obama back in the day. Iran is funding all of Hamas. They're funding all of Hezbollah. Israel would vote for Trump. Iran would vote for Kamala. Sometimes who the foreign powers are allied with should make you question what exactly is going on. Iran is our mortal foe in the Middle East. They are allied with Kamala Harris. Israel is our ally. I stand with Israel. I think most of you do, in their right to defend themselves, whether it's by blowing up pagers, whether it's by blowing up walkie-talkies, whether it's by responding to the Hamas attack of October 7th. All of that, I think, is super significant and worthy of paying attention to.